In the hyper-competitive, fast-paced world of online streaming, fame can feel like lightning in a bottle. For a 16-year-old from Syracuse, New York known as 2X Rakai, it seemed he had captured it. With a magnetic, high-energy personality that felt tailor-made for a generation raised online, he was achieving the impossible dream. He wasn't just building an audience, he was forging an empire, collaborating with titans of the industry and commanding the attention of millions. At his absolute zenith, he was averaging nearly 18,400 viewers every time he hit the go live button, a number that established streamers worked years to achieve. He was, by all accounts, on top of the digital world, a superstar in the making. But in the same digital arena that builds idols overnight, the fall from grace can be just as swift and even more brutal. In what felt like the blink of an eye, the entire empire began to tremble. The very platforms that championed his ascent were compelled to intervene, and the loyal community that had once adored him was left fractured and stunned. How did one of the brightest and youngest stars in gaming transform into a modern-day cautionary tale? And how could a single reckless decision on a rainy night threaten to dismantle everything he had so meticulously built? This is the rise and near fall of 2x Rakai. Like many digital natives of his generation, 2X Rakai's journey began humbly, with a YouTube channel launched back in 2016. But the spark that ignited the inferno of his fame was his first Twitch stream in December 2023. It was on this platform that his raw, unfiltered talent became undeniable. He wasn't just another teenager playing games in his bedroom, he was a born entertainer, a natural conductor of chaos and charisma. His streams, predominantly in the just chatting category, were an electrifying mix of off-the-cuff comedy, explosive energy, and genuine interaction that viewers found irresistible. His specific brand of humor resonated deeply, particularly with a younger audience who saw in him not a distant celebrity but a reflection of themselves. Louder, funnier, and more successful. This powerful connection fueled one of the most explosive growth spurts the platform had ever witnessed. By the middle of 2025, the statistics were staggering. Over 1.4 million followers on Twitch, a colossal 1.7 million on TikTok, and another 340,000 on Instagram. His TikToks weren't just popular, they were a cultural phenomenon, amassing over 18 million likes. He had perfected the modern formula for fame. Create viral, bite-sized clips on TikTok to act as a funnel, drawing legions of new fans directly to his long-form Twitch streams, creating a self-sustaining, perpetual loop of celebrity. In every creator's career, there's a launchpad moment, a single event that propels them from the rising star category into the stratosphere of the elite. For 2X Rakai, that moment was delivered by the undisputed king of Twitch, Kai Cenat. In November 2024, Rakai was featured on Cenat's highly anticipated massive streaming event, Mafiathon 2. The impact was instantaneous and overwhelming. Viewers who had gathered for Kai were immediately captivated by Rakai's infectious, almost chaotic energy. The chemistry between the two was palpable, a perfect big brother, little brother dynamic that was pure gold for live entertainment. This cosign was more than just a feature. It was the ultimate seal of approval in the streaming world. Following the event, Kai began reacting to Rakai's streams on his own channel, effectively shining an even bigger spotlight on the young prodigy. This mentorship culminated in Rakai's career-defining moment in December 2024, when one of his own streams peaked at over 23,000 live viewers, a number that didn't just suggest success, it screamed it. He was no longer a rising star, he had arrived. Fans affectionately began to call him Cenat's son, a nickname that not only captured their on-screen bond, but also solidified Rakai's new status as the heir apparent to the streaming throne. At his peak, 2x Rakai wasn't just a streamer, he was a phenomenon. He was consistently averaging an incredible 18,400 viewers and generating over 6.7 million live views every single month. His streams became can't-miss events. He demonstrated a masterful understanding of audience engagement, utilizing interactive features like text-to-speech donations that made every viewer, no matter how small their contribution, feel like a part of the show. This strategy fostered a powerful, tight-knit community, but it also cultivated a deep parasocial bond. His audience felt they didn't just watch him, they felt they knew him. This intense kind of connection is the rocket fuel for a creator's rise, but it's also a double-edged sword that makes any misstep feel like a personal betrayal to the fans who have invested so much emotionally. Imagine being just 16 years old, trying to navigate the already turbulent waters of school and the teenage life, while simultaneously managing what was, in essence, a multi-million-dollar entertainment career. The weight of those dual expectations had to be immense. It was at this dizzying, seemingly untouchable height that the pressure began to form cracks in the foundation of his empire. This story is a crucial and fascinating look at the new reality of digital fame. If you find this kind of deep dive compelling, consider subscribing for more stories from the online world that explore the complex intersection of technology, modern culture, and human behavior. The first public sign that the pressure might be getting to him emerged on January 30th, 2025. The automated tracking service Streamer Bands publicly announced that 2X Rakai's Twitch channel had been suspended. In the world of top-tier streaming where daily momentum is currency, any time off air is a significant risk. A 2-day ban might seem trivial, but it was a chink in the armor. While Twitch remained silent on the official reason, reports circulated that the ban was due to concerns about self-harm. Rakai later clarified that he never had any intention of harming himself. The incident immediately ignited a fierce debate within the community. Was this a genuine cry for help from a teenager, buckling under an unimaginable amount of pressure? Or was it simply a misguided, immature joke, amplified and distorted by the unforgiving, always-on lens of a live stream? His loyal supporters rushed to his defense, citing his age and the stress of his career. Critics, however, saw it as a glaring sign of immaturity, questioning whether someone so young was truly equipped to handle the responsibility that came with such a massive platform. The ban was brief, lasting only until February 1st, but the questions it raised about his readiness for the spotlight lingered long after. It was a clear and sobering warning shot. The entire world was watching his every move. The incident that would truly jeopardize his entire career was not a subtle misstep, but a direct and shocking display of the kind of reckless, clout-chasing behavior that platforms are increasingly cracking down on. On June 15, 2025, Rakai was broadcasting live to his thousands of fans, but this time, he was behind the wheel of a car. Clips from the stream went viral almost instantly, showing the 16-year-old repeatedly glancing down at his phone, his eyes off the road as he texted and read his chat. Then, in a heart-stopping moment that horrified viewers, he took both hands completely off the steering wheel, causing his car to swerve dangerously on the wet pavement. The backlash was immediate, widespread, and ferocious. Comment sections on Reddit and X, formerly Twitter, flooded with outrage. People shared deeply personal stories of loved ones they had lost to distracted drivers, their anger and grief fueling demands for Twitch to take decisive action. This wasn't an edgy joke or a minor infraction in a gray area. It was a clear and unambiguous violation of Twitch's own terms of service, which explicitly prohibit content that encourages or depicts dangerous activities, especially reckless driving. Just hours before his channel went dark, Rakai went live one last time. He dismissively told his audience that Twitch was investigating the incident, casually referring to the entire process as some bullst. This apparent lack of remorse only poured gasoline on the fire. On June 16, 2025, Twitch brought down the hammer. 2 times Rakai was banned for the second time that year. The fallout from the driving incident was a public relations catastrophe. The very qualities that had defined his success, his youthful energy and unfiltered persona, were now being viewed through a different lens, recast as dangerous arrogance and a shocking lack of judgment. The conversation quickly expanded beyond Rakai himself, focusing on Twitch's broader responsibility. What obligation does a platform have to police its biggest stars when they broadcast potentially deadly behavior to millions of young, impressionable fans? But then, in a move that surprised and confused many, the ban was lifted just 1 day later, on June 17th. His channel was suddenly back online. While he had managed to avoid a long-term suspension or a permanent ban, the reputational damage was severe. In the days and weeks following the incident, 2X Rakai remained conspicuously silent, offering no public apology, no explanation, and no acknowledgement of the danger he had created in broadcast. This silence felt like a missed opportunity for redemption. The unfiltered charisma that had made him famous had become his single greatest liability, writing a new, cautionary chapter for the entire streaming world to read. The story of 2 times Rakai is a quintessential story for our time. It is a narrative about a kid with an undeniable magnetic personality who instinctively understood the language of the internet better than almost anyone. His journey from an unknown teenager to a streaming giant in a matter of months showcased the unprecedented opportunities that exist for ambitious creators in the digital age. He was the living, breathing embodiment of the idea that with the right personality and a Wi-Fi connection, you could become a global superstar from the confines of your bedroom. But his story is equally a stark warning about the immense dangers that accompany that meteoric rise, especially for the young. It shines a harsh, unforgiving light on the immense pressure placed on teenage creators who are suddenly expected to be professional entertainers, savvy entrepreneurs, and flawless role models all at once. The deep parasocial connection with fans that can build an empire can just as easily create an environment of unbearable scrutiny, where every single mistake is public and permanent. 2X Rakai's near fall, triggered by a single breathtakingly reckless choice, highlights a critical truth. In the world of live streaming, the line between your online persona and your real-life responsibility is razor thin, and crossing it, even for a moment, can bring everything you've built to a devastating, crashing halt. His future in the industry may not be over, but his story serves as a powerful and enduring reminder that while the rise can be exhilarating, the fall is always just one mistake away.